Welcome into another episode of the Laser Bros podcast. We're hosts Logan and Luke Lazarchik. Today, Friday, September 19th, 2025. We just had Thursday Night Football last night. We'll be recapping week two. Week two was a rough one for me in the betting and fantasy perspective. It was pretty rough week two. Denver game was really unfortunate, and we'll be talking about that game, the Colts and the Broncos. We'll be talking about that game. Luke, what was your main takeaways from week two, and was there any disappointments for you, or any surprises, or anything of that nature?
I mean, overall, the fantasy teams were good. The betting wasn't too good. Let's look at. I'm happy Colts won. I did not pick them to win. I'm happy when my boy Danny won. The Vikings, which we'll talk about, was something. And then there's lots of injuries that there's a lot of injuries from week two. It was bad, especially for quarterbacks.
Yeah, we lost a handful of quarterbacks. We lost Joe Burrow, which we'll talk about that game. Jane Daniels got hurt on Thursday Night Football. He's not going to be playing this week. J.J. McCarthy got hurt. There's already a lot of quarterback injuries, and already a lot of teams are going to have to.
Justin Fields.
Backups. Yeah, Justin Fields suffered concussion. Yeah, a lot of starting quarterbacks are. We're only 2 weeks into the year, and we've already had key players, key quarterbacks go down. So let's go with our week two recap, and we are going to start with that Colts and Broncos game that we mentioned. Really, this game was really a game that Broncos should have won. And they had control in the second half, up 28-23, driving the ball down the field. Bo Nix throws a costly interception that, if they score a touchdown there, I think they pretty much win that game up by 12 with a little over half the fourth quarter remaining. And then obviously the field goal at the end, committing the leverage penalty, giving Colts a second shot. And I thought the Colts and Shane Steichen really played the end of the game pretty poor. More Shane Steichen. I thought he basically settled for a 60-yard field goal by playing really conservative and just basically running straight to the line of scrimmage for 3 straight plays.
Yeah, it's a little different when the Cowboys do it, and they have Brandon Aubrey, who's not just like the most accurate, but also the biggest leg. So, that was dumb. Broncos, I really think the Broncos are going to be a good team. I still do, but that was a bad one. That's one where it could bite you at the end of the year, that you had so many opportunities. You mentioned J.K. Dobbins got that
it was a delayed game penalty. That
he slammed the ball and they missed the field goal. It's just things were happening. And the Colts they trusted Taylor. They only let Danny Dimes throw once. He got the first down we need to, but then they just wanted to run it. And, it ended up working out, but they got quite lucky. But I think those are two good teams. I think the Colts are a good team. We'll see how their defense is in general. I think that they'll be the more test, but I feel pretty good about the offense, pretty good about my boy here. Great weapons, O-line's playing well. But yeah, it's really Denver's probably the better team. They choked it away.
Yeah, and Denver, I've had my concerns about Denver going to the year. I did bump them into the second place AFC West before the year started because of Rashawn Slater's injury, but Bo Nix didn't look good week one. He looked really good week two, but then the defense, I think it's going to be a really good unit, but at the same time, we saw last year they kind of beat up on really bad teams, and then when they played formidable opponents, they really gave up, north of 26 points per game. So is the defense as good as we thought it was going to be? And that's the one concern I have about teams who everybody basically pencils in as really good before the year. Nobody before the year started said that Denver was going to be a bad team. Most everybody had Denver penciled in as a playoff team, and most people, maybe not most people, but a lot of people did have them winning this division and potentially being Super Bowl contenders. And even when the head coach, Sean Payton, is saying this is a Super Bowl caliber team, that's even more pressure that they have put on themselves. That's the only, when the team is already, given this much credit before the year started, that is something that kind of concerns me a bit, just from a narrative point of view.
Yeah, narratives are kind of weird. Everyone's doing that with the Lions. I honestly think last year they didn't get hurt. I think they won the Super Bowl. I think if the Lions didn't get massacred last year, they're winning the Super Bowl. They were so good, and I still think they're good this year. So I kind of get the narrative thing, but I still think the defense was maybe playing a really good offense. I still think the Colts could be a really good offense, and they had them at 23, could have been less, and they should have won the game. So I'm not worried about Denver. They improved the offense the second game. Defense got a little dicey there, but it could be a really good offense they're facing in Indianapolis. So I'm still Denver. much more concerns about our Chiefs than Denver in the
No,
AFC
for
West.
sure. Now, like you said, it was definitely a missed opportunity for Broncos, and now they have to face the Chargers
Big
this week.
game.
So now this loss can be even bigger if they end up losing to Chargers, who at that point Chargers would have a 2-game lead over everybody else in the division at least.
Mm-hmm.
So it really that loss, like you said, could bite them at the end. From a Colts perspective, I mean, you have to be more than pleased in what you've seen from Daniel Jones. I admittedly have to say he's been playing really well. I don't think he's playing
Right.
like incredible, but I do think he's playing very well. He's completing the ball, accurate, decisive. He's throwing the ball where it should be. And they have the Titans this week. I mean, there's a good chance that they're 3-0, and who knows what happens at Texans and Jags game. The Colts can have a stronghold on the AFC South after this week. So they've been, and I've seen some people saying they could be this year's Saints. I just don't. I don't think it's really the same. I think
No,
it's
it's
somewhat
not.
the same, but at the same time, it's like Derek Carr. You never really thought he was going to keep that up, and they
Mm-hmm.
really only had one weapon. The Colts, if you look at the roster and all that, the only question mark coming into the year was the quarterback position. They have everything else locked in, and that was much different than what the Saints had last year.
Mm-hmm. No, look, the Colts. They did lose 2 interior linemen, but it looks like the guys who they brought in have really stepped it up. So that's huge. And then, I mean, yeah, Daniel Jones. Didn't get to watch a ton of the game because focusing more on the Chiefs game. But seeing clips, he's doing great. Like when there's pressure, which makes no sense after. Like I love Daniel Jones, but he's not been good with pressure. But maybe the pressure was just so bad, there's nothing he could do. And maybe someone was saying it the whole time. But I mean, yeah, they look great. Defense is solid. Defense can get the job done. You got to make sure what you mentioned the Saints. I don't think they're the Saints, but you got to make sure you beat the Titans. Don't lose to the
No,
Titans.
if they lose to the Titans, then that Saints comparison is going to be not validated, but there's definitely going to be like, okay, there may
Yeah,
be some smoke
don't
here where
lose
this team may
to.
be
Yeah,
a fluke. But like,
can't lose.
I really think that division is really a two-horse race because I think it's the Colts and Houston's division, and then I don't trust the Jaguars, and then Tennessee. I don't understand why people were so high on Tennessee before the year. There's people saying they can make the playoffs. There's people saying that they could win that division. I just don't see the talent on that roster, so I really see this as a two-horse race.
I think the thing was the offensive line's young and talented, and Cam Ward. Cam Ward looks good. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they keep it close. He looks good. I think that was
He
more
does,
the
but I
thing.
mean, he has Calvin Ridley and really nobody else. I mean, that rookie they have, he is playing well, but Tennessee doesn't have the talent. But yeah, I think both these teams blow an opportunity for the Broncos and a steal for the Colts, and now they're really in a good position to potentially be 3-0. Let's shift to the next game, and these teams, specifically the Bengals, were not as fortunate losing Joe Burrow for basically the entire season. They say 3 months. That's really a kind of like thinking, oh, maybe hopeful thought that he may be back. But this is really a full season injury. The fact that Jaguars lost this game, though, with Joe Burrow basically being out, I think he went out the second quarter, early
Yeah.
second quarter, he went out. It's really an embarrassment of a loss. I don't know where you stand on that, but for me, I thought it's a terrible loss, especially when you were up. They elected to go for it on fourth down late in the game instead of taking a field goal, which I guess it wouldn't have mattered. I guess they would have lost by 1, but maybe that puts more pressure on Bengals to then say we have to get a touchdown. We can't settle for a field goal. I don't know. I think they're not using Travis Hunter the right way. Brian Thomas Jr. and Trevor Lawrence, that connection really seems off. And then I don't really know if you trust the offensive line. You don't really trust the defense. Both teams, I think, you have to be very concerned coming out of this game for both drastically different reasons. But
Yeah, the Bengals. I mean, here Browning's not bad. So like, if they make the playoffs, I won't be shocked. I haven't looked at their odds, but if they make the playoffs, I'm not going to be shocked.
But can I interrupt you real quick? The one thing that we said about the one thing we said about Bengals, though, the only point that we had for Bengals even being a playoff contender was the fact that they had Burrow, Higgins, and
No,
Jim
I
Martinez
know,
in that
I
offense.
know.
Now you lose Burrow.
I
I
know,
do
but
not see any way they make
Browning has done well, and I've seen some stats where it's like the offensive line plays a little better with Browning in. There's some blocking stats are better. Browning does a little better against the rush. Oddly enough, I'm not saying he's better Joe Burrow. He should be, but it's like there's a chance Burrow's play style may be a little detrimental to the O line. There's just a chance. We'll see. I'm not saying it is, but there's some stats. So we'll see. And he's done. He went 4-3 that one season, I believe. So like he can do it. They're 2-0. They have a lead. If he could just maintain the ship, I mean, it's very plausible that they could. I think it's plausible they can make the playoffs, and who knows? Maybe Burrow heals a little fast. Everyone's talking about, oh, it's going to take longer. Well, sometimes we see players heal faster. There's a chance Burrow heals faster. So I'm not taking them out anyway. But yeah, the Jaguars. I mean, they're bad. I mean, I don't care how they won that Panthers game. This is a game you need to win. And the Brian Thomas stuff is weird. Trevor Lawrence didn't look good. Defense just let Browning. They got 2 picks and still let Browning get the Bengals with 31 points. I mean, I don't have much to say about the Jags. They're just not that good. I think that I haven't looked into the Trevor contract. I haven't fully looked into it, like details when they get rid of him, but I could definitely see it be.
It's definitely not after this year. Yeah, it won't be after this year. They definitely can't move after him after this year.
And then Jaguars I mean, some teams do. I mean, we always say that. Then the Broncos cut Wilson and we're taking on like $80 million in dead cap. I mean, you can. But I could see Jags fans really being like, okay, we may be done with the Trevor experiment.
Yeah, I think and remember they gave up their first round pick in 2026 to get Travis Hunter. So
yes,
their avenue of
they're not using him right at all.
No, everything's underneath. For me, and Trevor Lawrence threw 2 interceptions in this game. It could have easily been 8. There were multiple callback for penalties. There's multiple dropped. I wonder what the odds are right now for Bengals to miss the playoffs. I wonder if Vegas is on the same wavelength that you are at. I would easily take Bengals if there's good value on Bengals to miss the playoffs, which I bet the value is on them making the playoffs. I just don't see it for them. They don't have a strong defense. Offensive line, I know you said they played better with Browning. Still not a strong unit. And I just don't really see a path for them forward making it. And the AFC, I mean, I know the Chiefs were going to be, and we'll talk about them here next. I mean, they're 0-2 and all that. But I do think I just don't see a path for the Bengals making the playoffs. Anything else on?
No, I just again the Travis Hunter thing you mentioned. Oh, they're using him underneath. He's not a super good wide receiver. Like he's just not. He's not a refined route runner. He doesn't have the best hands in the world. He's good, but this is why when they traded up, I'm like they better use him more as a corner. And I feel pretty justified in that thought so far. Like they should have used him more as a corner. You don't trade up a future first for the number 2 pick for a receiver when he's not even the best receiver in the draft. And then you use him more as receiver. He needs to be playing corner and a little bit of receiver. It just doesn't make logical sense. And they got De'Ami Brown. Receiver's an overrated position. You don't need him to be your wide receiver too. It's just, I think it's so stupid. It's like the Texans fell in the same thing. The Bears fell in the same thing, trying to get all these wide receiver trios. If it happens organically, and maybe a wide receiver trio like the Chargers, where it's like Quentin Johnston, like he's the deep ball, and Conkey's kind of a little bit of everything, and Keenan Allen's the like route runner, 3rd and 7 guy. It's like it all fits perfectly, but then I don't know, it's stupid. I think the thought that you trade up to the 2nd pick for a receiver, mostly and somewhat corner, is stupid, and it's harder to play corner. Like I feel like he's missed so much.
Well, and I think he's undersized. I think he's very small playing defense.
But no, he's a good. No, I don't agree with that at all. He's a really good corner.
No, corner, but I'm saying from a tackling point of view, he's not tackling. I worry about him tackling.
Deion couldn't tackle. Who cares? I think Travis Hunter could be like one of the best corners in football, but they don't use him as a corner. They use him as a hybrid corner, and I think that's dumb. I think it's dumb. If you don't play part-time corner, play part-time receiver. I don't have no concerns about it. If he fully dedicated his time to defense, he'd be so much better. He just having to learn the offense.
Let's shift. So those are 2 12 o'clock slate games. Let's move to a 3 o'clock game. Eagles-Chiefs, really an ugly game. Both offenses are not entertaining to watch. The Eagles do ultimately beat the Chiefs in this game 20-17. Chiefs had an opportunity they had an opportunity to go up 17-13. Travis Kelce drops the ball at the goal line. The run game is a major concern for the Chiefs. The pass game is a concern for the Eagles. How do you view both of these teams? I know one's 2-0, one's 0-2, so it's like you can say, oh, the Eagles, they're 2-0, they're in a good spot. But is there any concerns for the Eagles? Obviously, you have concerns about the Chiefs. Do you have any concerns about the Eagles? And the Eagles really haven't even looked that good.
No, yeah, I do not think the Eagles have looked that good. I mean, they're 2-0. They know how to get wins. So to me, for the regular season, I'm not really concerned about them. I feel like in the regular season, I don't think their division's that great. Now with Daniels hurt, he's probably just gonna miss the 1 week, but it's not a great division. They'll get
Oh,
like what,
I think that
12
could be a
wins.
multi-week injury for Daniel.
No, yeah, we'll see on him, but and then so I'm really for the Eagles. They'll get a top 3 seed. So more, I'm looking into the playoffs. I'm like, I don't know if this can translate because I would say I think I would take the Packers right now. I'm still taking the Lions right now. Niners getting everyone back, I think, is an interesting conversation once that happens, but you can't talk about it yet. So for them, it's more playoffs right now. I'm nothing crazy, but for the Chiefs. I mean, I know we'll get Worthy and Rice back. I said we there. I try not to do that on this. But it's more vibes. I have a bad vibes deal. I don't like the vibes that are going on. Wearing the Rasheed Rice shirt when you got why are we doing that? I said we again. It's different from last year. It's different from last year because you have this Rice thing and then I don't know. Kelsey's just he drops pick and then he kind of did a little was there a flag and then he didn't run after him. Something's off. I mean, it's just all signs are pointing to this being that year where the Patriots lost to the Titans in the playoffs. It just feels very similar. And then, I mean, Chris Jones kind of screwed up week 1. And I don't think he's the same caliber player. He's still great, not the same caliber player. So the Chiefs is more playoffs, but the Chiefs are more concerning, obviously, because of record. And I don't think they win the division. The division's much tougher.
So I agree with most points you're saying. For me, I was more concerned, and I know this is going to sound pretty contradicting because the Chiefs went 15-2 last year, but I have more belief this year than I did last year based on the fact that we know we're getting Rasheed Rice back. After week 4 last year, we're we do not have Rasheed Rice. He's not coming back. We're depending on undersized rookie receiver Xavier Worthy. Marquise Brown, we don't know when he was going to come back. He ended up coming back week 15 against Houston. I do have more faith that this team's going to figure it out. And the team last year figured it out. And so, when people say you're not going to win as many one-score games as you did last season, that's absolutely valid. But I do think the fact that you have Rasheed Rice coming back, I think they're going to be aggressive and go after running back in the trade market here at some point in the coming weeks. That they have to. Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunter is not cutting it, and they're not going to. Patrick Mahomes is leading rusher right now for the team. I think he has 123 yards in 2 games. And he's scrambling. I saw a stat. He's scrambling 15% of the time of his dropbacks, which is concerning because there's a difference between design run and scrambling. Scrambling is when there's nothing outfield and also the pocket breaks down, and you're seeing that plenty with this offense. But I do think if the Chiefs can get, my hope is that they're 3-3 by week 7 when Rasheed Rice comes back. That's the hope. You kind of float water and you kind of get to week 7. And I know the schedule's tough. You have Giants this week, which it's must win. And if you lose against the Giants, you then have Baltimore week 4. Sunday night is a must win for so many reasons, not just the fact of going 0-3, but just also your schedule coming up. But I think if they're 3-3, you get Rice back. I think if you can stay in contention and in the variance of or kind of the area of the Chargers and Broncos, I think there's still a chance that they could turn this around.
I mean, there's a chance, but it's are they going to be 3-3? I would say no. I would say they're probably going to be 2-4. That would be my guess.
So you get
lose the Lions and Baltimore. I mean, that would just be my guess. Again, I don't like looking ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Because maybe you oddly lose to Jacksonville, then you beat the Lions, something stupid like that. That happens all the time. But I don't know. It's just, to me, it's a vibes. It's a lot of bad vibes. I really didn't like the Rice thing, and it's just it just feels like it's. I feel like it's like the universe is saying it's. Sounds stupid. It's just something's off. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It's a little different from last year because at least there's some spectacular within the mess. It's just a mess. I mean, Mahomes, I know he hit it's he's not hitting the deep ball, and it's he has a speedster. It's he needs to hit the deep ball more. Kelsey, I think, is even worse.
Right now,
you can't get 4 targets when you're passing the ball a lot when the number 1 receiver is Marquise Brown. What are we doing?
No, right now, would you say Kelsey's what option is he in the offense right now?
He's 2.
Is he a second option right now?
I don't even know. I guess he's
and for me, for this team, if they want to go where they want to go, when Rice comes back, he may have to be your like fourth or fifth option. Like seriously, you have Rice, Worthy, Brown should be your third, and then I would take Juju or Jalen. I really think Jalen Royals could, you know,
But we don't
get a
even know
role for
what
himself later
Royals
in the season.
is. We don't know what
Okay,
he
that's just later in
is.
the season, but
I know, but
this
he
is
could
good.
just be not good at football. Like we have no idea.
But
It's
like
not
I
like
think I don't think you have a chance if Kelsey's your number 2 or 3 option. I think he literally has to be like your fourth or fifth option in the passing game.
if you're
He's
depending on
completely done.
Jalen Royals. I mean, we have no idea what Jalen.
Okay, or
Royals is.
Juju. You can put Juju in there as well if you.
I know, yeah, but Juju. I mean, it's kind of a mess. I feel like the offense could get it working, but just something just tells me like there's gonna be games where it's like how we lose that game. I don't know. I still would Chiefs make the playoffs in my opinion, but and then also I'm not expecting Chiefs to win the division. So I'm expecting the Chiefs to now be a wild card, something they haven't had to deal with, where every game is going to be on the road. And I mean, I don't think road home is huge, but it's still something different that they haven't done. So I don't know.
Before we move to the next game, Eagles, and I don't want to get to Jalen Hurts. Great discussion, but I do think people say it's a scheme. I think the fact that they're not, having explosive plays, I think it's more of him being unwilling to throw the ball down the field. That's just me. I don't think it's really.
I think he's also trying to manage the game a little too much. I feel like he has these weird stretches where he just decides not to throw down the field. It's like you need him to be pressured because, like, not like actually pass rush, but like big games, he's been good. And no matter what you want to say, he's had 2 Super Bowls. If you look at all quarterbacks who have played 2 Super Bowls, there's no one who's had 2 better games than Jalen Hurts. And so I feel like there's a chance he's just kind of coasting. He's just kind of coasting. He knows he has a great offense, a great offensive line, great running back, great receivers, good tight end. I feel like he's coasting. That'd be my current analysis.
But, okay, so that's fair to say. But then you brought great receivers. He's not using them.
No, yeah, because I think he thinks like, I can use them later. That's just my guess. I'm not saying I'm right. I just think because we've seen him chuck it, and like he's chucked one deep ball, like true deep ball to Jahan Dotson week 1, and it was a dive. So
no, I saw a stat. They have 5 plays this year of passes going 10 yards or more down the field, just 5.
Yeah, and they can win in the regular season. Like
now, I want to bring this up. I want to bring the tush push. Is it like, are we going to see it being penalized more like this upcoming week? Are we going to see more flags thrown for it? And I think that could, play a huge part in the result of that game potentially. I do think they're going to make an example out of it and coming up this week. I really do think that's what's going to happen.
And like, I don't hate the tush push. I don't think it should be a thing. It's a little weird. It's not why the Chiefs lost.
No.
But yeah, I hope it gets like, hey, you can't lean forward. Like
it's so funny how the discourse of that has completely flipped. Like last year, everybody was like, oh, you have to respect the Eagles. They're the only team that can run it well. And now everybody wants to ban it.
Well, it's because their offense has been super boring to watch through 2 weeks.
Well, no, yeah, you get to 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1.
And they're false starting and leaning forward. So we'll see how that goes.
Let's move to the last game of week 2, Sunday Night Football. A really ugly watch. Falcons, Vikings. It says dominate in there. It was really just a defensive, slugfest, and the Falcons, I thought, really gave the Vikings and J.J. McCarthy problems. I know you were really big on. I think you had Vikings winning their division, correct? When we did our predictions. Is there any doubt in that now, like you just said?
Well, Logan, that's of course there's doubt. I mean, it's more. Also, I still think it's more because the Packers are so good and the Lions are good. But yeah, there's a problem. I mean, they were also really hurt, which I didn't take into account as much when predicting that game, that they were really hurt. But yeah, McCarthy did not look good. I still think McCarthy has it in him. I think he kind of holds it, looking for like the great throw too much. So I think he still has some development. I mean, he hasn't played football in a year, and he never get to take practice snaps. So it's like, this is something where I'm like, this is probably my bad on my analysis. Like, I should have taken that into account to start the year. He hasn't played in a whole year and hasn't even practiced for a whole year. So they're not looking too hot, but I think they'll be okay. They're still talented. Players will come back. Carson Wentz coming in for injured JJ. So I think they'll be okay. I don't think I trust O'Connell. It's about O'Connell. That's the biggest thing.
So, and I'm surprised you didn't mention it, but their offensive line is a complete mess right now. So for me, you brought McCarthy not playing a year, not really taking practice snaps. Now he's dealing with a high ankle sprain. He's probably going to be out, around a month. that doesn't help his development. He needs these reps to get better. For me, I'm not going to say the Vikings are in trouble by any means because they still have a really good coach. We'll see how Carson Wentz plays this week. Really good defense. But is it just going to be kind of up and down year J.J. McCarthy because he's going to be out a month. He's going to come back, try to get back in the swing of things. He's still learning, still developing. I think we're on the course for just like an up and down year. And that doesn't mean it's a total derailment of their season. But who knows? I don't think it's going to be as clean. You know, when he comes back, I'm not going to assume like, oh, well, I'm going to say it won't be a smooth sail when he comes back. It's still going to be these up and down performances.
No,
you're really in a really tough division. I had them as a teetering playoff team. I think they're going to be battling for a wildcard spot the last couple weeks of the season, if I had to guess.
That's possible. I mean, I still think that if Wentz is playing well enough, I think that maybe they're like, okay, maybe it's 3 weeks in and like JJ can start practicing a little. Maybe they're like, okay, you're going to practice for like 2 more weeks because Carson Wentz is going to steer the ship, practice for a couple more weeks. And then when you're fully back, you got a little more practice in, you're a little more warmed up, then you let him in. So definitely some concerns there, but I still overall love the roster, love the head coach. So I'm good with them. So, yeah, I feel okay with them. Falcons. They're probably not going to win the division.
Falcons. I've been pretty impressed with them. I know this wasn't a great offensive game. Week 1, I think they kind of blew that game against the Buccaneers. But the main question that each and every year you have about the Falcons is what's that defense going to look like? And they really look like they actually have a strong defense with those 2 pass rushers. AJ Terrell dealing with a hamstring injury, a week-to-week injury. We'll see how much that affects the defense. He's their best corner. Does that kind of – but they have – it seems like their pass rush, you know, Raheem Morris, defensive coach, it seems like he's getting that side of the ball right. Are the Falcons a team that you think could be – and I know it's only 2 weeks. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but do you think they could be a team that could, you know, be a sneaky – not contender, but give people a team you don't want to face late in the year or even like an early playoff round?
See, my problem with them, I still like them, but it's only 2 weeks in. I like the defense, but honestly, Michael Penix is a little disappointing. He misses some throws where it's like, okay, the thing with you is you're supposed to be really accurate. He's not as accurate as he's not playing as accurate as he should be. And you can say that for whatever reason, but there's just throws he misses where it's like, okay, your point of view is you're supposed to hit those. And so I don't think he's been bad, but I don't think he's been good. I mean, he's been okay. And I want to see more out of Penix is honestly the thing. Because I was on the Falcons. I picked them to win the division. And I still think they can, but that's more because the Bucs have been massacred by injuries more than the Falcons' performance. I like their defense. I mean, it's looked good. It's also been against 2 hurt offensive lines, and they got to face a 3rd-string left tackle last week. So they're about to face a hurt.
I think they deserve. I get your point, but I do think they deserve a bit more. I know, but I think they deserve a bit more credit than what you're giving. Because you said those against bad or like offenses that are banged up. They're still really good. They faced Justin Jefferson.
Okay, yeah, good. I said offensive lines. You're facing a hurt Tampa offensive line, and you lost. And now you're facing a hurt. So not only were Vikings on their backup left tackle, their starting center got hurt in the middle early on, and their backup left tackle got hurt early on. So you were facing a 2nd-string center, 3rd-string left tackle, and the rest of the line's not playing great. So I like what they've done. It's just I'm not going to say like, oh, they have this killer pass rush. And now they get to have another matchup against Panthers, who all line wasn't good to begin with, and just lost their center and guard. So and quarterback who can't escape. So we'll. Gonna give it some time on them to see how truly good their defense is.
Okay. And like I know Michael Penix is a much older quarterback for a second-year quarterback, but he has only had 5 career starts in the NFL. So I do think there's still time for him to develop and get better with accuracy. And like I think their offense hasn't really even like clicked. It, like you said, hasn't really clicked yet, specifically the passing game. But Bijan, you're gonna be able to lean on him. Tyler Algier is a good RB2. To spell Bijan. I really have high hopes for his team if they can start getting it clicking on offense. Coaching is always a question for me with this team. I don't know. I don't think situationally they're the best at times, taking timeouts and all that clock management. But I do like the Falcons where they're going. And Tampa, like you said, they're like Ibuka's questionable now this week, and they have another offensive line out for the year. So Falcons have the path to win this division. Let's now move to last night's game. We'll briefly talk about this game. I don't think there's many talking points from this game. Dolphins did cover. It was 11.5. I thought it was going to be a blowout. They were actually contending for most of the game. Tua throws a costly interception when the team was driving in the final minutes of the game. It already feels like the Dolphins season's over, and the Bills are a team. If Josh Allen doesn't turn over the ball, they're going to be virtually impossible to beat, especially with that schedule. They may have one of the easiest schedules in the league, and they're going to be coasting through a lot of these games. They may be like a 15-win team.
No, yeah, the Bills, I don't really have much to say about them. They're Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Their offense sputtered a little bit. That happens in regular season games against 0-2 teams when you're just kind of coasting or just not fully locked in. The Dolphins, they're done. I also think that they're better than 0-3. I think they competed with the Patriots, who aren't that good, but they competed with them. The offense looked good. Offense looked good yesterday. I was seeing Kurt Warner saying that it wasn't Tua's fault about the pick. I mean, it's Kurt Warner. He knows more than me. He was saying that the receiver didn't run the route correctly. He's supposed to – I don't know. It's Kurt Warner. But I do think you looked at him quite a long time.
He stared at him the entire time. From the time he got the ball.
Kurt Warner's just saying something on that route, he's supposed to cut in way more to where that's supposed to be I don't know.
Kurt Warner has also said Caleb Williams has not looked as bad as so.
Okay, yeah, but I'm not going to disavow what Kurt Warner says. But I mean, in the end, Dolphins defense isn't good. They're getting hurt. I mean, it's just a mess. I don't think I really have much to say. I think it's all kind of known. They're a mess. They've been a mess. They'll be a mess. But I could see them upsetting a couple teams throughout the season at the same time.
Yeah, and I really think this team. I know there's a lot of issues on this team, but I really think it comes all the way back around to the quarterback. I think Mike McDaniel is not a terrible. He may not be a head coach, but play calling, he's a good play designer, and he gives Tua open throws, and Tua just misses them way too often. I think the fact I'm very surprised. I already had my doubts about them paying him in the first place because of injuries, performance late in the season, but it's hard to imagine them thinking, let's pay this guy when we have Josh Allen in the division. And Tua admittedly said he can't do half of what Josh Allen does. So you're paying.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
You're having all this money allocated to a quarterback who is nowhere near Josh Allen and is not going to elevate you above Buffalo. As long as Buffalo's healthy and as long as Josh Allen's healthy, Miami will never have a shot to win this division. And so
I feel like
that type of money is just another, reason they should have not done that contract.
I mean, I think in the end we all know it was a bad contract. We know it didn't work. Even though I thought it could have worked, it didn't work. I don't think that's really – I think it's kind of known now. I'm just looking at his contract as – why is it doing – the thing.
Oh, I saw a tweet today. It was his cap number's top 10 most expensive the next 4 years.
They're just going to cut him early and have a really bad year is what I feel like. The Broncos did it a couple years ago with Russell Wilson, and people are talking about them being –
What week does Tyreek get traded?
6. Week 6. I think next year you're just in the hole for a ton, but they just they cut Tua next year and just say, okay, we're done with it. We'll suck for 2 years and we're going to suck this year. Who knows? Maybe we'll get Garrett Nussmeier. I guess Nussmeier is a favorite to be the first pick right now. Who knows? But yeah, it's done. It's done. I feel like it's just over.
You want to go to our week 3 picks now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so week 2, I was 11-5 on the money line and 8-8 in spread. I think Luke, you were a tad better on money line, if I'm not
12-4, and then spread 9-7.
Okay, so you boxed me out in both categories.
2-0.
2-0. Yep, 2-0. Just it's okay. Luke is going to be like the Saints from last season. He'll start slipping here soon. Let's go to our first game. Packers at the Browns. Packers minus 8 points in this game. I think the pick's pretty easy. It's just deciding what side of spread you're going to be on.
Yeah, we know Packers going to win. I swear now, Browns, after I took them to cover last week, they're going to somehow lose by 4. But I got Packers to cover the spread. I mean, Browns offense, even though I like their defense, their offense is despicable. And Joe Flacco does not look like – I think he may now be officially done. I think he's officially done. It's Dylan
I think he was
Gabriel
done when he
time.
was with the Colts last year. He was done. I mean, he
He
came in
had
for those 2
moments.
weeks and
He had moments. He had moments. He wasn't done. He's now done.
So wait, do you have Packers covering?
Yeah, Packers cover.
So a couple of key news about this game. Tucker Kraft, it doesn't look like he's going to play, and there is some concern that he may be out multiple weeks with that knee injury. I'm still going to take the Packers minus 8 points. I think this is still too low of a line. I'm actually surprised it hasn't gone to 9.5, 10 points. I think Packers are going to dominate this game. I don't think Browns are going to do anything offensively, and I think there's a good chance that Packers in the second half you're going to be seeing a lot of backups. Like you may see Josh Jacobs resting most of the second half. There's no point in burning him out. And I think it's going to be a run game second half. It's going to look similar to the Lions game from week 1. So I have Packers minus 8. Next game, last week this game looked really good. A game that I was anticipating watching with some excitement. Joe Burrow out, JJ McCarthy out. Vikings minus 3 in this spot. How do you see this one playing out? What are some keys that what are some factors you're going to be watching closely in this one?
I mean, obviously the quarterback play with Browning and Wentz, and honestly, Wentz is way more interesting than Browning here. We've kind of seen Browning. We know he's not that good, but he can kind of get the job done with 2 great receivers. So it's really about Carson Wentz. Does he try to more? Because I felt like JG wanted to gunsling, but he kind of held it and didn't really, and then does Carson Wentz play within the system a lot, or is he hyper targeting Justin Jefferson, which would be great for my fantasy team? Which I think JJ McCarthy should be like, hey, I'm Justin Jefferson, like hyper target him a little bit. Maybe that's what I would tell him, and that's not just for my fantasy team. I feel like if you have one of the truly great receivers, you got to at least hyper target them a little bit. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be looking for, and I do have Vikings winning, but I'm really close on it, so I'm taking Bengals to cover.
Yeah, I think for me, the Vikings have a clear edge, way better defense. Cincinnati's defense bad. Like it's one of the worst units in the league, obviously. I think what's going to decide this game is how well Jake Browning plays against his Vikings defense. If he can actually, dissect it a little bit, but this Vikings defense has given troubles to every team that's played early in the season, the last 2 seasons. Like Michael Penix, I know he's not like a great quarterback right now or anything, but he couldn't do anything. Week 1, they faced the Bears. Bears start out pretty quick, but then they couldn't really do anything. Last year, you saw the Niners get dominated by this defense. The Texans get dominated by this defense when they're fully healthy. So I think the Vikings defense as a whole is going to just be the deciding factor in this game. And I just don't think Cincinnati is going to be able to stop Kevin O'Connell's scheme as well. I think as long as Carson Wentz takes care of the ball and doesn't put the ball in harm's way, I think they win this game. I'll take Vikings minus 3. I'm kind of with you. I think it's a closer game, but I will take the Vikings and the points in this game. Next game, I hope we don't decide to watch this on Sunday Ticket.
What? This could be fun.
I don't know, man. Steelers minus 1.5 versus the Patriots. Steelers coming off a pretty bad loss against the Seahawks, and Patriots, scoring 33 against Miami. And Steelers defense looks pretty bad right now. So maybe this is another game that may hit the over on the over-under. I don't know what the over-under is right now on top of my head. It's probably something in the low 40s, I'm assuming.
I think Vegas is giving Steelers defense a little too much credit for the past accomplishments. I don't think they should be favored. Like, it's different between picking an underdog and then, I don't think Steelers should be favored. Especially Drake May had some of his best plays of his career so far. That first week, Josh McDaniels, you can see it being tough. McDaniels' system can be a little rough to learn. But week 2, I know, is against the Dolphins, whose defense.
That's why I'm kind of hesitant.
But he threw this perfect ball to Ramondre Stevenson that was a huge for the win. So with plus 1.5, honestly, Aaron Rodgers he's looking pretty solid. I know his numbers weren't great, but he had a touchdown that should have happened, turned to a pick, and then he just chucked the pick. He's honestly one of the bright spots for him. So I'm going to take New England plus 1.5, and obviously I'm going to take them to win.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking Patriots as well. For me, if the Steelers had a more of a strong run defense, I'd probably be on the Steelers side. But so I have questions, obviously, about Patriots offense. But if they can just turn around and hand the ball off to their running backs, and the Steelers have been gashed the first 2 weeks on the ground in the run game defensively. So I think if the Patriots can lean on the run game, I think their defense is good enough. Christian Gonzalez may actually play this week. I saw
That's a
he was
huge
listed as
chance.
questionable. I haven't seen any more updates on that in the last hour or so. So he's questionable. But if he plays, I mean, you put him on DK, and then really the Steelers don't have that many other options in the passing game that you're really scared of. So I'm gonna take the Patriots in this one. It's weird. I've backed the Patriots, and I think I picked the Raiders in week 1, but it's weird backing the Patriots in 2 straight weeks. Something I didn't think I was gonna be doing, but yeah, I'll take the Patriots at home to win this game. Next game, and I'm taking the under on this game. I believe the over-under is at 42.5 right now. Rams, Eagles. Eagles 3.5-point favorites. Both 2-0. So one of these teams will be 3-0 after this week. I know you have questions about the Rams and the Eagles. I'm interested to see your breakdown and analysis of this game.
So I think this is gonna be ugly. I think it's gonna be ugly. Neither team's really playing their full potential. I still wonder how truly good Stafford is at this moment. Like, I'm just interested in that, and maybe I'm wrong, and he's still up there. But
So to your point of Hurts coasting, I think Stafford and the Rams kind of do that early in the year because like early in the year, the last few years, they've kind of just
no, there's a case for that. There's a legit case for that. But they're 2-0. Eagles secondary, I'm not loving, even though they held Chiefs 17, but Chiefs should have scored more. And I know the Rams O-line isn't great, but I don't think the Eagles have this fantastic pass rush. I'm going to take the Rams to win this game, to cover and win. I am looking at it, and I'm thinking, Puka and Devontae against not a good secondary, and Stafford, if his O-line does okay, I think they'll have like a big drive, and the tush-push thing with them not being able to lean forward, assumably, I think it's going to have an effect. And so I'm taking Rams to win this one.
Yeah, I think the tush push penalties cost the Eagles this game. That's my prediction. I think there's gonna be a tush push late in the game that gets called for either a false start or just illegal formation because the whole offensive line is lined up off sides. I like the Rams this one. I'm gonna trust Stafford over Hurts in this one. This is a rematch of the NFC title game, which the Rams almost won. They were driving down the field with an opportunity to win that game. I like the Rams. I think their defense could give Eagles offense issues. The Rams defense is actually quietly pretty good. Like I know they faced Houston and Tennessee, so that could be a bit exaggerated, but I do think they have a young defense, and I think it's an underrated defensive unit. The only concern I really have for the Rams is their offensive line play. But I trust Stafford. I really like their weapons if they can get the run game going. But I like the Rams in this spot, and Rams going 3-0, and I think they have. Do they play? I think they played Jacksonville week 4. Or is that the Chiefs who play Jacksonville week 4? I know week 4, I believe is.
Chiefs play Jacksonville week 5.
Okay, guys. So maybe they do have Jags week 4. So this is a really great opportunity for the Rams to potentially get to a 4-0 start. Looking ahead of the schedule, but I'm gonna take the Rams, Sean McVay, and Matthew Stafford on the road. Next game, Jets at the Buccaneers. Injuries for both teams, obviously. No Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor starting. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield's a bit banged up. Igbuka's questionable. They have injuries on the offensive line. Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs have also been ruled out for this game. Any shot to the Jets, and Jets were a popular, team to cover the spread last week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have them covering the spread this week?
I do, oddly enough. Bucks are really hurt. They're really hurt. And Tyrod can do enough. So I'm not saying that the Jets are going to be on their heels the whole time. But I think the defense is probably a little better than they played, even though if they really are that bad. Man. But they played the Bills and they played Rodgers. When Rodgers playing well, I know when Rodgers playing well, sometimes it's just Rodgers playing well. No matter how old he is, he still has some Aaron Rodgers in him. So I'll have them cover, not win. Tyrod will keep it close enough. Yeah, that's my entire analysis there.
I've been on the fence on this one. For me, the Buccaneers defense, they're not that great, but like the Jets, I think their defense could be that bad. And the Buccaneers offense, if Igbuka's playing, you have Bucky Irving. Rachaad White was solid last week against Houston's defense. I'm going to take Buccaneers to cover here. I don't think Tyrod Taylor's going to be able to keep up with Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield's offense, they just seem to figure it out when they have to on third downs, on crucial plays. And I think that's what's going to push them over the edge of it, to covering this spread. Next game, Raiders at the Commanders. Commanders minus 3.5. Jane Daniels has been ruled out for this game. I don't know if the spread. I made this morning, so I don't know if the spread is
It
still
didn't
3.5.
change. It didn't change. No, it did change. It changed to 3. My bad. It changed to 3.
Changed to 3. Okay, let me change it here. But yeah, so Commanders minus 3. How do you see this one playing? Is Jane Daniels' loss significant enough where the Commanders lose this game?
I do. I have upsets this week. I do. I got Raiders covering and winning. I think the Raiders. Geno Smith. I'm not the biggest Geno Smith fan, but that was just a really bad game. I think he's better than
zero
that.
completion. He had 0 completions of 10+ air yards.
He was just really bad. Brock Bowers kind of hurt playing. I think he'll be healthier. And again, I just don't love Washington. I think they won a lot of one-score games last year because Jaden Daniels is just his magic. And it's not that Mariota's bad. I just don't think the roster's that good. Now, I do think they have a plus, even though it sucks Eckler got hurt. The running back is going to be better because my boy Bill is finally going to get the carries he deserves.
We'll see. I don't know. Jeremy McNichols, I think, is going to get more
Chris
carries
Rodriguez
than you think.
And
I think it's going to be a 3-headed. I really do.
Yeah, but I think Bill's performance will eventually.
Well, I think eventually, but I think this week, I think they're gonna.
I think he'll still within the game. I think he'll take it. I think he'll take it early in the game because then you realize Jeremy McNichols and Chris Rodriguez.
That's your fantasy side talk.
Yes, fantasy a little bit in there as well. But yeah, I got Raiders. I think they'll bounce back. Again, I don't love the Raiders, but I do see this as a bounce back win for them. And I in Washington without Daniels.
Yeah, I actually see these two rosters pretty comparable.
Yeah,
I think Commanders I think their roster actually compares a lot to the middling teams in the league. They have a really good difference maker at quarterback. And then I don't mind Debo and Terry, but I do think those two players, aging receivers, I think Terry's a bit overrated. I like the Raiders in this spot too. I think it's a bounce back spot for Geno. He's going to want to prove himself. I think Genty has an opportunity to get things going in the run game, which that's a one element that's really been missing their offense because their offensive line's been playing against, they played Chargers and they played Patriots, 2 really good run defenses. Commanders I don't think Commanders really have that great of a front to stop the run. Now, I think most of the Genty's problems with the running game is because of the Raiders offensive line. But I think
he's looked good. I was going to say, I think he's honestly running the ball. He had a lot of good runs, and now that pass blocking's not been good. But I think he's actually looked good running the ball.
Now, on the season, he's averaging 2.7 yards per carry. Not his fault. Like I said, I think it's an offensive line issue, but I think that they're going to be able to do enough in the run game. I think it potentially opens up this week. I'm going to take the Raiders as well on the road. I'm going to agree with you with that upset pick. Another game, NFC South matchup. Luke backed Bryce Young before the year. He actually wanted to trade for Bryce Young in Dynasty. I said, Luke, we're not doing that.
Well, I want to trade Anthony Richardson for him. So honestly, it's still been a win.
It's a lose-lose. It's a wash.
Hey, Bryce Young's got fantasy points last week. Not that we need him, but he's got fantasy points last week because we have Daniel Jones and Herbert and Goff, which is
Falcons minus 5.5 in this spot. Panthers now out 2 offensive linemen. Bryce Young doesn't look good. This run defense, which I think Bijan's going to run all over. Is this a blowout?
I do not think it's a blowout because 2 reasons. It's the Falcons and the Panthers, and Bryce Young likes the backdoor cover. So I have Panthers winning, but I have not Panthers winning, Falcons winning, but I do have the backdoor cover from Bryce Young. It's not that I think he's going to compete in the game, but it's that the Falcons are the Falcons, just like the Chargers almost chargered week 2. Those are just the Falcons are the NFC's Chargers. That's what they are. And so they're going to be up like 17. They're going to win by 3.
I think it's a bit disrespectful Chargers, but I understand.
What do you mean the Chargers have screwed up all the time? Logan, what are you talking about? The Chargers have charged. We're in the division. Just because you like Herbert doesn't mean the Chargers aren't the Chargers.
No, I know.
Until they do it.
Yes.
That was dumb of you to say. I'm sorry. What do you mean? They're like iconic for doing stupid stuff.
No, I know it's called charging. I understand.
Yes. So why'd you just say that's disrespectful to them? That's in the Falcons.
Well, at least the Chargers have been like in the playoffs and all. The Falcons haven't been in the playoffs.
Falcons went to a Super Bowl 9 years ago, and that's when the Falcony. That's when Falcony.
I know. Okay.
And they win the playoffs afterwards too. And they've won playoff games. Yes,
I get your point.
Just because you like Justin Herbert doesn't mean that he doesn't charger it up all the time.
So wait, do you have Falcons covering?
No, I have Panthers covering. Back.
I'm going to take the Falcons covering. I think this is. I know that you have doubts about Falcons holding on. I think it's a game where they just kind of, if they have to, they'll lean on Bijan and he'll carve up the Panthers' rush defense. I think Panthers have the worst run defense in the league so far this season. They were the worst run defense in the league last season. Nothing's really changed. Bijan, I think, is going to take over this game if the passing game doesn't get going. And I think this is a game where Drake London potentially kickstarts his season. So I'll take the Falcons -5.5. Another divisional game. Now we shift to AFC South. Texans versus the Jaguars. I'm surprised the Jaguars are minus. I'm surprised they're favorites in this game. Like we talked about Steelers, Patriots earlier. Steelers on the road as favorites. I am surprised that Jags are favored in this game.
See, this makes me concerned because I want to take the Texans, and I feel like a lot of people want to take the Texans. But then the Jaguars come out and win by 7. But I'm still taking the Texans just because Trevor Lawrence is not good at football, not good at NFL football. And I think that the Texans defense steps up. I think that
that defense is elite.
Yeah, I think the O-line does enough. Now, do I think this is a pretty win? No, I think it's ugly. And also, I'm really starting to CJ Stroud. There's just certain things I don't think he sees on the field. I don't know where he is in the quarterback pecking order. It's not as high as we once thought he was going to be. But I still take the Texans here.
Yeah, I'm taking the Texans. I'll take almost everything. I'll take the coaching. Quarterback, even though I don't think Stroud's been that good this year, I'll take Stroud over Lawrence. I'll take the defense of the Texans over the Jags defense. And Jaguars offense, Trevor Lawrence, he may throw 3 interceptions in this game. And I think the Texans, they have elite pass rush, elite corner. I think a really good coach. I am worried about the offensive play calling. I think that's a big issue. Like I understand the Stroud discourse and all that, but I do think there's a lot of things around him that are not that good. I think play calling's bad, offensive line's terrible, and he's not an overly mobile quarterback. So if the offensive line's going to break down, it's similar to Jared Goff. If the offensive line breaks down, and he's more athletic than Jared Goff, but it's going to be tough for him to really execute plays. And really now I believe Christian Kirk is going to be back this week. I think that's a huge addition to the offense. Jaden Higgins is playing slot receiver. He's not a slot receiver. Christian Kirk's a slot receiver. So if there is pressure, he now has a safety valve that he can trust middle of the field. So I'm going to take the Texans to win this game. I'm pretty confident in it. And they're 0-2, must-win game. I'm kind of also playing the numbers game. Are the Texans really going to be 0-3 and the Jags are going to be 2-1?
That's also a thing.
Very, very tough to envision.
I don't love the pick.
Yeah, I'm going to bet the Texans this week. I'm pretty confident in that. Next game, we have another divisional game we'll be talking about. Broncos-Chargers. Chargers -3. Chargers looking to go 3-0 and at worst be up 2 games on everybody in the division. But if the Chiefs lose, they'll be up by 3 games.
Yeah. So looking at this game, the Chargers looked good to start the Raiders game, but then they start charging it up. They really start charging it up. Got on the 1-yard line, kicked a field goal, didn't even use Herbert really. Herbert almost threw a pick that could have honestly been like a near pick 6, and the Raiders could score and make it a 4-point game. And Denver had a bad loss, but Chargers is more Chargers history. Denver, they screwed up, and they were better than the Colts. And I think 3 points is a lot here. And I'm going to take the points, and I'm going to take Broncos. I think they're going to tie it up 2-1. I think their defense will shore up. I think it'll be a good game. This is a great game. But give me Denver in this one.
Really tough here. Really tough. Like I said, Broncos, when they play formidable offenses, they give up points. I don't think that defense is as good as we thought it was going to be. I still think personnel-wise it's loaded, but I still think at times they just don't play up to their talent. Some concerns for me for the Chargers, though. No Khalil Mack in this game. And I think that defense, it's really the opposite of the Broncos. Broncos loaded defense. I don't think they're that well coached by Vance Joseph. And then for Chargers, I don't think they really have the personnel, but they're very well coached by Jesse Minter. So it's really 2 opposite sides of the coin defensively for both teams. I'm going to trust the Chargers at home in this one. I think this is going to be a push where I think the Chargers win by 3. So but if I had to make a choice, I'll do Chargers -3. But I do think this ends up being a game where the spread ends up in a draw if you take either side of the spread. But I'm going to take the Chargers to win and cover. I'm looking at news right now for players and their availabilities this week. Shamar Stewart is out against the Vikings, which I think that's a pretty big loss for them. And then I guess Darisaul's questionable, so he actually has a chance to play in that game. And then AJ Terrell's out as well. So that's just some updates from injury point of view. But yeah, I'll take Chargers, and you have the Broncos in that game.
Yes.
Okay. Man, we've had a good stretch of games, and now we're going to this one. Saints versus the Seahawks. Seahawks -7.5 at home. Do the Saints have any chance of pushing this line and potentially getting Seattle issues?
Oh, I definitely think so. I mean, the Saints have looked not bad. They've competed in 2 games, not against great teams, but the Seahawks aren't a great team. They're not that good. The whole NFC West kind of bleh. So I was actually knew I'd take Saints to cover. I knew I was doing that. I'm like, I'm going to take them cover. But it's really, who am I picking to win? I was really back and forth on it, but I'm going to take Seahawks.
God. Okay.
I'm going to take don't act like Seahawks look good, but I'm going to take Seahawks to win. But Saints to cover, I think Rattler's been solid. Defense has been okay, and I just don't think the Seahawks are that great. So I think it'll be a close one. I think Seahawks will pull through.
I think Seattle barely covers the spread. I'm going to say by 9 to 10 points. I think their defense is going to overpower the Saints. We're kind of on opposite sides of this. I think their defense is pretty damn good. You think it's just based on matchups that they're playing, I believe. I think they actually do have really good defense. I think most of the question marks for me are on the offensive side of the ball. But I think Kenneth Walker's going to get it going. Charbonnet, I don't know if he's actually going to play this week. But I think JSN's going to do what he wants against this defense. Kenneth Walker will dominate the run game. I think Seattle overall, this is going to be kind of like a game where they kind of overpower the Saints on each side of the ball. So I'll take Seattle and the points in this game. Next game, Bears host.
I just wanted to say about the Seattle defense. I mean, like, Steelers are going to have 21 points in the fourth quarter if Calvin Austin doesn't screw that play up.
You mean, wait, are you talking about the kickoff?
No, not even the kickoff. Yeah, the kickoff too. But no, the interception Rodgers threw that I think, was it Freiermuth was going to score a touchdown? And
I'm not
Calvin
sure if I saw
Austin
that play,
threw
to be
his
honest with
game.
you. We were watching.
No, yeah,
I don't know if I saw that play.
No, yeah, it was like Calvin Austin messed up. He went for the ball. It wasn't intended for him. He jumped back into the play. It was going to be a touchdown, and then it got picked. And then they're up 21-19. And that's in third quarter. I just don't see it.
Wait, 21-19?
It was 19-14 Seattle at that point.
I thought Seattle went up 24-14 after the kickoff blunder.
No, they kicked the field goal. Or wait, it would have been 21-17. My bad. No, but Seattle kicked the field goal to make it 20-14, and then Caleb Johnson fumbled.
Okay. Yeah. Let's move to this next game. The Bears host the Cowboys. The Cowboys are 1-point favorites. No Jalen Johnson this game. No Deron Bland. The over-under is 50.5. I think this is going to be a game where you see a lot of points. The Cowboys are coming off a game where they basically played 5 quarters, had to go to overtime against the Giants.
Did you skip Colts Titans?
Did I skip Colts Titans? Hold on. Did I skip them? I may have skipped them. Hold on. I know I had them up here. Or did we talk about them earlier?
We talked about the Colts game from last week, but we didn't talk about Colts Titans.
All right. I think I actually forgot to put that game in this sheet. So let me put it in real quick. Do you want to do that game before we do the Titans game?
Yeah, so Colts -4 is what I saw it as. I saw Tyler Warren's questionable, but I think he's limited participant the last 2 practices. I'm assuming he plays. I just really hope they don't lose. I'm taking Colts -4. All the logic is telling you this is where they drop off. I'm saying no. Colts are gonna push through. They got this.
So you have $100 on the Colts and Falcons, correct?
I mean, I have a free bet.
Okay. This will be the game we find out if the Colts are for real. It's not because the Titans are good or anything, but if they end up losing this game, the calls for them being a fluke is going to be pretty strong. I have the Colts winning, though. I'm going to have them cover the 4. Titans have actually been pretty good defensively. They had the Broncos troubles. The Rams for the first half of that game really did not look that great. I believe it was tied at halftime between the Rams and Titans last week. So the defense could, cause issues for Colts, but I'm going to take Jonathan Taylor in that run game to really be the ultimate factor in deciding that game. So I'll take the Colts minus the 4 points. Let's now go back to the Cowboys and the Bears. I apologize for that. I must have missed that when I was creating these sheets earlier. Cowboys -1, as I was saying, Jalen Johnson out, Deron Bland out, and the Cowboys cut off a game where they gave up 450 yards and 3 touchdowns to Russell Wilson.
This one's a vibes one. Are the Bears going to go 0-3? I feel like everyone's saying. I guess it's not as much vibes. I don't know. I think it's going to be high scoring. Neither defense. I think Cowboys' offense looks pretty good. Their defense looks bad. I don't think Caleb was terrible last week. It wasn't good. But I think
I don't think Caleb was the main problem in that game.
Their defense got slaughtered.
Yeah.
But I got Bears to cover the +1, another underdog. Yeah, give me the Bears.
Yeah, I like the Bears in spot too. I think, Cowboys for me, I think there's going to be a little bit of fatigue. They now have to travel to Chicago. They basically played 5 quarters last week against the Giants. And I think it's pretty alarming how the Cowboys in the Bears pass rush of the Giants, but that Dak Prescott, I think for the first half of that game really struggled. I don't think he's particularly that great. Now I think he's gonna be good in this one because the Bears defense is just not that good. But I'm gonna take Caleb Williams, and I'm going to take the matchup of Ben Johnson against Matt Eberflus. And Matt Eberflus, former head coach of the Bears, that's gonna be the matchup I think that Ben Johnson, takes advantage of in this game. So I'm gonna take the Bears. I'm with you. I'm gonna take the Bears to win this game outright, and of course cover the +1.
Wait, you say the thing is Matt Eberflus?
Matt Eberflus is a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, but he's not a bad defensive coordinator. He just coaches defense. I don't think the defense is good this year, but I don't think it's Matt Eberflus' problem.
No, but I'm saying it's a matchup between Ben Johnson playing play calling against Matt Eberflus.
I know, but I want to be pointing out Eberflus. I get the whole storyline, but Eberflus, I feel like, is a fine defensive coordinator.
Next game, another divisional game: Cardinals versus the Niners. Niners -2.5. Brock Purdy has a chance of playing. He says it's gonna be a game time decision. If I had to make a gut call, I say he doesn't play in this game. Mac Jones showed it enough last week where I think they kind of just play him again. How do you see this one playing?
Brock or Mac? If Brock plays, they win by 7. If Mac plays, they win by 3. Give me the Cardinals are not good at football. They competed with the
Cardinals.
Saints.
The Cardinals they got a godsend first 2 weeks. They played the Panthers and the Saints.
Well, yeah, they're facing a really beat up Niners team, and I still think they'll lose. I think this is where I like Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh, I really think, again, huge part. The defense, I see that they're saying Mikael Williams is looking really good as like a run stopper, and then they have Bryce Huff, who's a really good pass rusher. So they kind of have that tandem alongside Nick Bosa. And it's Kyler Murray, and I don't trust him. Give me the Niners.
I'm going to take the Niners as well. Kyler has a history of being actually pretty good against the Niners in his career. When he won, the game in at 49ers last season, where he ran for the 50-yard touchdown. But I do not trust Kyler. They don't create any easy plays for Marvin Harrison Jr. Everything just looks tough. Kyler Murray. I think that's another quarterback that this team will move off Kyler Murray after this year. I think he's another quarterback that will be on a new team in 2026. And I'm just going to trust Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh. I think they're easily the 2 best coaches in this matchup. And so I'm going to take the Niners -2.5 as well. I'm not a huge fan of Mac Jones, but in Kyle Shanahan's system, I think a lot of quarterbacks can succeed. Let's now move. Those were the 3 o'clock games. We will now go to the Sunday night game. Chiefs -6.5 against the Giants. A lot of points for the Chiefs nowadays. 6.5.
That is a lot. And I already gave my Chiefs breakdown, basically. It's a good front 7 for the Giants, even though it's not playing super duper, but I think the secondary is not helping. Russell Wilson was great. 6.5. I'm taking the Chiefs, but 6.5 is a lot of points. Give me Chiefs to win, Giants to cover. That's a lot of points for a team that we'll even see if Worthy plays, and I don't care. Jalen Royals could be good, but I'm not factoring him into anything until he does something.
Fair. I do think both those receivers end up playing. I do think it provides a little bit of a boost to the passing game. That's where I stand on that. I have a score prediction for this game. It's Chiefs 23, Giants 17. So I have the Giants covering by half a point. I think the defense for Giants is going to give the Chiefs offense issues at times, especially up front. with that front seven. But I think at the end, Russell Wilson's not going to be playing the way he did last week. This Chiefs defense is still a good unit. I know the Eagles offense has not been great this year, but the Chiefs held them to 20 points, and they could have been up 17-13 in the fourth quarter, and who knows, maybe Chiefs win the game 17-13. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. I think the defense will do enough, and I think the offense will ultimately find a way in a must-win game. There's going to be urgency and desperation on the Chiefs side. And there's already murmurs of if the Giants lose this game, there could be Jackson Dart in week 4 against the Chargers. Monday night, very interesting game. Lions versus the Ravens. Ravens minus 4.5. I believe Lamar Jackson's undefeated against NFC teams this year.
He's lost one.
He may have won. I think it's one loss. Ravens at home, Monday Night Football. Do they keep this train rolling? They're averaging 40.5 points per game, by the way, this season.
No, yeah, the offense clearly clicking, but again, I also think it's the Browns. There's a lot of late stuff against the Browns. They can run the ball. They got late touchdowns to Hopkins and Devontae Walker, of all people. I have the upset here too.
Wow.
Give me Lions to win.
Wow.
I think that week 1 was tough. First week with new coordinators, things didn't look too peachy. I think they're healthier. I think than last year. I think that they got their game going. They figured it out. I think they win a close game. I think it's an upset here. A tip goes their way or two. Give me the Lions. I got a lot. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams who are underdogs to win.
I'm on the other side. I'm taking the Ravens. I know the Lions looked great last week. They scored 52 points. I'm not going to say that that's what they're going to look like each every week. They're playing a really bad Bears defense. That Bears defense also made J.J. McCarthy look like a superstar quarterback in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to trust that the Lions do that again. Ravens really good pass rush. Lions still, you have question marks about the interior of that line. I still have question marks that pertain to Jared Goff's mobility. And I think ultimately Lamar Jackson and Ravens at home are going to win this game. If they lose at 1-2, which the division's not, I don't think it's at risk. I think they may coast to a division title this year. But I think the Ravens at home in prime time, I think Lamar is going to win this game. I think Derrick Henry's going to get back on track this game as well. I think he was basically non-existent last week. He'll be a big factor in this game. So I expect the Derrick Henry touchdown. I expect Lamar to keep doing his thing. And, Lions for me, I just don't think Jared Goff does enough to win this game. So I'll take Ravens and the points. I'll take the Ravens to cover the 4.5. But yeah, so interesting week 3 picks. Like you said, you have 7 upsets. I'll have to write mine down later. I just went based off of this. I didn't have time to write down my picks earlier this morning. But yeah, week 3, I think hopefully I have better luck and hopefully we have better luck than we did in week 2. I know fantasy and all that. Like I had 2 players get tackled the goal line on Monday night. So pretty rough week 2 for me. But I think week 3, I like the matchups in week 3 better than I did in week 2, to be honest with you.
No, yeah, I think there's some fun stuff here. I think there's a lot of good games.
Well, that will do it for our episode this week. We will be back next week with our week 3 recap, week 4 predictions. But until then, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and listen to us wherever you get podcasts.
Peace.